Another foundering car, and today we will discuss the question: how much engine do you need to have fun? So there are some factors to consider. What is your definition of fun? Is it track use, or is that a high top speed? Is fun luxury, or is it something else? Because if you're just looking for fun, and that's driving fun, so to say, so not so much luxury but driving fun, then it depends on the following factors. First, sorry for that. First, the design of the car and the engine. Second, is it blown or not? So is there turbocharged, supercharged on top of it? And three, the weight of the car. So let's begin with the last one. If your car has very little weight, you will be enjoying a small engine, because a small engine might be small, but if you compare it per kilograms, it still doesn't have a lot of weight to haul. So that's a great benefit. So the lighter the car, the smaller the engine can be, and because of the lighter car and smaller engine, you will also stay light overall, because the engine will not add a lot of weight. You don't have to have extremely big brakes and still are able to stop on a dime. And with the lightweight, you also have a car that's enormously fun, because it's good to throw around the bends. That's also the thing that I mentioned. If you're looking for fun at top speed, there's a different criteria as you compare it to a car that is nice to drive. And for example, track they use, you want a car that's very light, so you can play around in the bends. And top speed is often not that big of a deal, because you will never reach it on a track. Most tracks, at least. Nürburgring might be something else. There's a long straight, at least, if that is open to you. But oftentimes the long straight is excluded, and then you will not reach your top speed anyway. That being said, top speed can be fun, huh? If you're driving at an extremely high pace and you're covering miles, that could be nice. But in general, it's nice that a car has good acceleration, good road holding, good braking, and is able to do a lot of things that pricier sport cars normally would do. But it's able to do it itself, and that's a good thing, of course. The other thing to consider is the design of the car. If you have a car that's designed to be fun, sporty, for example a roadster with an open top and also a roof that can be a roof that is retractable, like a Mazda MX-5 or a Toyota MR2 or this Abarth 595C, this will add a lot of fun. If you're just looking at fun, and also oftentimes they have the traction to propel the car at the rear wheel, so they are rear wheel driven, and it also gives you the feeling that you're being pushed instead of being pulled, as a front wheel drive car like this Abarth 595C that we are sitting in is doing. So this is a car that pulls because the engine is at the front, and also the traction, so putting the power of the engine to the ground, is also at the front. With a roadster, for example the Mazda MX-5 I mentioned, there's also an engine at the front, but then there is an axle that goes to the back, and there the rear wheels are being put the power on, and then it is pushing it, because the power comes from the back, it's pushing at the rear. If the power comes from the front, like a front wheel drive like this car, it will pull you. So that's the thing to consider. But also the design could be like more of a dedicated track tool, like an Exige, an Elise. Elise is also a roadster, but an Exige has a hard top, so it's even stiffer. And those type of cars, or an Integra type R, those are designed to perform very well, especially at a track. So even if the power figures are not telling you the story that they might be the best in class, they are, because they are developed for track use. You also have Megane RS, a Megane RS R, you have a Club Sport of Volkswagen, and those cars are quite dedicated to perform at track. Also you have the GT3 from Porsche, which is on paper a lot less powerful than the 911 Turbo, which is more of a top luxurious Grand Tourer. Also does turbo power, but it's still a better tool at track days because it's extremely light and it is extremely track focused. So those are some things to consider. Another thing to consider is, of course, is your car blown or not? So is there a turbo or supercharger on top? Because if you have this figure, in the past the Japanese had this rule. I will explain it by this rule. So for every liter of turbo or supercharged car, they had to compete with a naturally aspirated, so no turbo or supercharger, so a car that's just sucking in air instead of being blown air in by the turbo or supercharger. So for every 1 liter turbocharged supercharged car, you had to compete with cars with up to 1.7 times the displacement. So if you have a 1 liter turbocharged car, it had to go up to 1.7 liter naturally aspirated car. So if you just go a little bit ahead, if you 2 liter turbocharged car, then you had to compete with cars with up to 3.4 liters of naturally aspirated goodness. So that gives you an indication that turbocharging, supercharging your car can result in a lot of gains in terms of horsepower and even more so in torque, which gives the car a lot more oomph. So it has a stronger and bigger engine than you might think if you only look at the displacement. So that's something to take into consideration as well. And the other thing with turbocharged cars specifically is that they are easy to tune, because you will not only optimize the engine management in case of detonation of fuel, but you can also increase the turbo pressure by this chip tuning type of deal. The other thing with a supercharged car, it's not that easy as a turbocharged car with chip tuning, but with a supercharged car you can just adjust the pulley. If you make the pulley a little bit smaller, then it makes more revolutions, and then you get also more pressure, so more air also into the engine, which helps a lot. Hope this helps. Found my car out. Oh, to answer the question, it depends on the weight. If you have a Gerade GTI of Daihatsu at a little bit over 100 horsepower, I think 110, 140 horsepower would weigh very little, so about 800 kilograms, then you have a very good hood to ride. On the other hand, if you're driving an Impreza or a Golf GTI or a Lancer, then a 2 liter displacement might be best for you. I have two cars, which is this little car, this Abarth with a 1.4 liter turbo, 160 horsepower, 173 with stage 1 tune, a 1.4 liter turbo engine there, which is the Suzuki Swift Sport Hybrids, which stock has 129 horsepower and with a stage 1 would be 170 horsepower. Of tunability, hope this helps. Found a new car, really out now. Bye bye.